Hare Krishna, Namaste.
Chapter 13 is entitled as Kshetra, Kshetrajna Yoga, also as Prakriti Purusha Vibhaga Yoga, also as Prakriti Purusha Viveka Yoga. Summary. Bharatamrita sarvasyam Vishnu Vaktrad Vinishritam Gita Gangotakam Pitva Punarjanma na Vidyate. It is said, one who drinks the water of the Ganges attains salvation. So what to speak of one who drinks the nectar of Bhagavad Gita, which is spoken by Lord Krishna himself. Bhagavad Gita has information that every single human being must know about. In this chapter 13, there were a lot of information that was given specifically pertaining to the body and the soul. Whatever has been missed in earlier chapters, Krishna has pretty much summed up in this chapter in relation to Atma and Sharira. Since we have learnt a lot in this 35 slokas, it's good to revisit in a summary format so we find a connection between all these different slokas. Let's see this in a dialogue format between Arjuna and Krishna. Arjuna asked Krishna, "Dear Krishna, you taught me clearly in chapter 2 about the self. Whenever we say self, it is Atma, the spirit soul, the living entity, which is different from the body, Sharira, because the body grows from childhood to youth to finally old age. But the Atma doesn't go through any of those changes. It is the body when becomes old like a worn out garment. The Atma changes the body like a person changes a garment. It is the body which keeps changing. Also, I learned from you that the Atma cannot be cut into pieces, cannot be withered, cannot be burned. All that can be done to body, but not to the Atma. These were wealth of knowledge that I have gained from you, Krishna, but for the benefit of others who may be requiring more explanation on the subject, can you kindly elaborate on the subject matter on Tattvatraya, the three realities, the body, the self, and the super soul, Paramatma? In response, Krishna agreed that the topic is not that easy to be understood by everyone and digested by everyone. So it requires repeated teaching as well as repeated hearing to understand the Tattvatraya. Over here, the body, the soul, and the super soul. Then Krishna started explaining, comparing the body and the soul with an analogy of field and knower of the field, Kshetra and Kshetrajna. My dear Arjuna, the body is called Kshetra, the field, and he who knows this field is called as Kshetrajna, the knower of the field. Kshetra means agricultural land. The agricultural land yields various types of grains to the owner of the land. Similarly, the agricultural land called the body produces pleasures and pains in its varieties to the owner, that is, the Atma. This is the fundamental understanding. Based on this, now Krishna is going to explain more in detail about the Kshetra and the Kshetrajna, which means the field, that is the body, Kshetrajna, the owner of the field, knower of the field, who's the Atma. Kaunteya, the land is obviously different from the individual who owns it. You know that the agricultural land and the owner of the land are two different entities, is it not? Similarly, the body called Kshetra is different from its owner, the Kshetrajna, knower of the field, that is the Atma. The term Kshetrajna means he who has understood the body, the Kshetra. Also, it means one who has analyzed the differences of the body and self. So from this also we can understand that the subject matter that is being understood is different from the person who understanding it. So the first point is that the field and the owner are two different entities. The second point is the Kshetrajna, meaning what the knower, is different from the object which is to be known. For example, when I see there is a car in front of me, the object that is being seen or understood is different from the one who is seeing or understanding it. Likewise, the body is being understood by the Atma, hence they both are two different entities. So this is fundamental to be very clear. Now let's move on to the third way of understanding how the body and Atma are two different entities, not the same. When we refer to the body, a person says, my body. Does anyone say I body, Arjuna? I leg? I eyes? I nose? We never hear anyone saying such things. Therefore, this also explains to us that the body and self are two different entities. The possession, which is the body, is different from the possessor. Like, this house belongs to me, so I say my house. The house is my possession and I am the possessor. Therefore, we both are different entities. Similarly, the body and the self are two different entities. So that's the third point. So again, the first point is to understand that the body, which is the field, agricultural land, and the owner, Kshetrajna, are two different entities. Second point we learned is that the body is different from Atma because the body is something which is understood by the Atma, who is understanding the body. In that way, that which is understood by Atma are two different entities. And thirdly, we saw that we say my house, my body, my leg, but we are not the house, we are not the body, we are not the leg. Therefore, the possessor and possession are two different entities. Arjuna, with this basic understanding, also know that all the moving, non-moving, all the sentient and non-sentient are all part and parcel of me. I reside in everything. I support everything. I activate them, and I am the Lord of all things. Hence, I am the super soul of all. Everything constitutes in me. So Krishna first explained about the body, which is Prakriti, and the Jivatma as a second, and then the third point is Paramatma. So after explaining these three, now Arjuna raised a question. Krishna, O Supreme, is the body a material inert substance, that is Jada Dravya or Ajada Dravya? Is it material substance or non-material substance? Then to answer this, Krishna explained Arjuna how the body is produced by the elements. So Arjuna can easily understand if the body is Jada or Ajada, material or non-material substance. Krishna explained earth, water, fire, air, ether, ahankara, mahan and prakriti, pradhana. These are the substances from which the body originates. Hence, the cause being material substance, which is Jada Dravya, the effect, that is, the body is also Jada Dravya, material substance. Then Arjuna asked, what substances exist in the body, Krishna? And in response, Krishna said, well, there are 5 Jnanendriyas: ear, eye, nose, mouth and skin. 5 Karmendriyas: hand, leg, tongue, anus and organ of reproduction, plus the mind. In all 11 Indriyas that I just listed out, and also the 5 senses, which are sight, taste, smell, touch and sound, are the ones which exist in the body. Those are in total 24 elements that constitute the body. Arjuna then in response asked, what changes are brought due to association with the body? Krishna smilingly responded, likes, dislikes, happiness and sorrow, etc. These are the changes due to association with the body that takes place. Likes and dislikes are only modification in one's consciousness, and these are caused only due to the association with the body. The self which does not have these aspects of likes and dislikes, etc., experiences them only because of its contact with the body, Arjuna. Krishna, what purpose has the body been originated? Could you please explain? It is simple, Arjuna. The body serves the self, so the self can experience the various results of its deeds, virtuous deed or sinful deed. So is it related to karma, Krishna? Of course, these are karmas by which the body is attained, by which certain things happens through the body, and the Atma experiences those outcomes is simply because of the virtual deeds or the sinful deeds that the Atma has performed now becomes as a result, reward for those actions through the body that the Atma experiences. Then further Krishna explained that the body is not one unit, it's the assembly of many elements. And by this, Krishna explained all about the nature of the body, Deha Swarupa. Next, there will be a dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna to understand Atmapti Hetu, meaning the nature of the spirit soul, Jivatma. To summarize what we have learned today on this subject, the nature of body, is that the body is called Kshetra and the Atma is called Kshetrajna. Kshetra means field, Kshetrajna means knower of the field. Therefore, they both are two individual entities. The second point is Kshetra, which is the land, and Kshetrajna, who owns it, are two different entities because one, that is the land, is known or understood by the knower. In that way, they are different. And thirdly, we saw that we say this is my land. We don't see anyone saying I land. Therefore, it is clear that the owner is different from the owned. Then Krishna, after explaining the difference between body and soul in these three manners, then said everything is residing within him and he is within each and every entity. And also Krishna said that the body is Jadadravya, material substance, which is made of 24 elements. And it is because of the association with the body, there are different changes that happens, like liking, disliking, happiness, sorrow, all those different things, which becomes a modification to the knowledge of the Atma, the consciousness of the Atma. And the purpose of the body being originated is to simply experience the results of its virtuous and sinful deeds. And finally Krishna said that the body is an aggregate of many elements. In our next session, we'll continue summarizing the next subject, which is to know about the nature of the Atma. Namaste. Hare Krishna.